We've been rooting for Dr. Now for years because of his compassion and concern for his patients. But Dr. Now also taught us how modest mulishness can escalate to full-fledged anger. And once that happens, there's no turning back. But we can't blame the guy, because most of the patients had developed morbid obesity as a result of their gormlessness, so showing up on TV doesn't change their attitude at all. And that leads to some very awkward consequences. So in today's video, we will show you some of the times when Dr. Now ended up being kind of a douchebag. Let's get started. Garrett Rogers.
I come over to help Rob every day, and she has a hard time doing stuff on her own. That's why she has me come out here and help her out.
Individuals trying to shed a few pounds under the supervision of Dr. Now before being approved for surgery. Often, the treatment in Dr. Now's program are sufficient to get people on the right track to their ideal weight. Garrett Rogers can attest to that, as the young guy had a dramatic life change, as he was only 20 years old at the time, weighing in at 607 pounds. But even if you're one of the youngest patients to ever appear on the show, that doesn't imply that Dr. Now is going to go easy on you. The moment Rogers stepped on the scale, Dr. Now made it clear that he had to follow Dr. Mao's regimen seriously, and he was in a condition where not a moment could be taken for granted. Dr. Now furthermore warned him that if he kept going at this rate, he might become the world's largest person. Just so you know, don't expect Dr. Now to cut you any slack if he's giving you a pep talk.
But Garrett, you decided you want to as well, since you are over 600 pounds too. Is that correct?
Yes.
And thanks to that, Garrett hopped on the journey to alter his life because of the famed doctor's no-nonsense attitude. Inspired by Dr. Now, Garrett doubled down on his efforts to lose weight. Eventually, he went down to 337 pounds, shedding almost 270. Naturally, he relocated to Houston to be treated by Dr. Now. However, Garrett needed to get back home as his father had fallen ill. But it seems that following the weight loss program with Dr. Now, it seems to have made Garrett happier.
My whole family is good at welding, so it's a trait I've wanted to take up since I was really young.
Brienne Diaz.
It's so hard to force myself to get up in the mornings because when I first wake up, I feel miserable.
Brienne Diaz, who was featured on the show, is one such amazing individual. But weight wasn't her only foe. But she persevered in the face of adversity and fought through life's challenges. Diaz started resorting to food for comfort from a very young age. Brienne claimed that her early years were like any other child's, but that once her siblings arrived, she felt as if her family had forgotten about her. Her father was an Air Force officer. He couldn't abide his daughter gaining weight and began imposing rules and regulations on her, which had a psychological and emotional impact on her. She turned to food as an escape from reality, and her weight gain began as a result of that. When a teen is denied food, he or she is inclined to rebel, which Brienne did too. She began partying and drinking at the age of 18 to retaliate against her father, which exacerbated her weight problems. During this time, she was also subjected to sexual abuse, which only made her obsession with food worse. So after coming down to Houston, Brienne stuck to the routine, and with her never-back-down attitude, took it upon herself to conquer her obstacles. She lost 382 pounds while under Dr. Now's supervision, but when she returned for her follow-up, it was discovered that there was a possibility of a pregnancy. The doctor informed her that he would run some tests on her to see if she was still carrying the baby or not, but Brienne got worried about her skin removal procedure.
Even if you turn out to be pregnant, you still can lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay? The first few months.
Dr. Now informed her that she could have her skin removed at any time, and that she should concentrate on the potential of becoming a mother. But she ended up losing the baby.
I was really hoping that I'd be able to get approved for skin removal today. But I know Dr. Now is right, and that this isn't going to be an easy surgery.
Megan Davis.
Food is the only thing that makes me feel all the ways I want to feel. So that means gastric bypass is the only hope I have to change.
Megan had been reliant on her mother for care, and that had to change because her body was slowly shutting down. But before that, she needed to make some healthy changes to bring her life back on track. It all started when young Megan was tipping the scales at 200 pounds by the age of 6. She told the cameras that eating gave her a sense of comfort, love, and fullness, and that it was the only constant, dependable close friend she had.
The only thing that gives me any happiness is the same thing making me this way, eating food.
Megan had crossed the 600-pound mark by the time she was 24 years old. She weighed a whopping 604 pounds when we first met her at Dr. Now's clinic. Her decision to see a bariatric surgeon gave her hope because she realized there was no going back if she kept going like this. Megan's journey to this point had been long, arduous, and difficult. She was given a strict diet plan to follow and was advised to curb her food cravings. She makes an effort to stick to the schedule, but her task was difficult, given her mother's constant facilitation. Megan only lost 14 pounds over the course of 3 months. This was a red flag that she wouldn't be able to stick to her diet plan. Megan proved us right, and the infuriated Dr. Now as he was done with her because she kept failing again and again, so was turfed off the program.
This is what I was afraid of, and I'm just really upset and discouraged because I've worked so hard to make it to this point.
Crystal Rollins.
Life at my size has become a never-ending struggle.
Crystal Rollins was raised by her grandma and didn't get the closure of her parents. She eventually developed a strong desire for her mother's undivided attention, but it seemed like a long shot. So she used food to fill that void. Rollins would eat continuously, even if she was full, because it was the only time she forgot about the fact her mother was not around. Her weight began to rise as a result of this phase, which provoked her binge-eating tendencies. She was shockingly molested by a family member, and it was too much for her to handle. Crystal questioned her mother about the incident, to which she was told to forget about it and go on. Crystal moved out of her house after feeling betrayed by her mother and began living with her grandma. Unfortunately, by the time she came on the show, she was at the point where her lungs were unable to withstand the strain that the weight was placed on them.
Just even breathing is a struggle because my weight has put so much pressure on my lungs.
And she had to rely on an oxygen tank. Crystal felt bad about herself and wanted to make things better for her girls as they approached high school. She wished to improve so that her daughters could concentrate on their own lives rather than caring for her. And when she arrived in Houston, the doctor asked how she got to be so big, to which she had no clear explanation. She continued replying that she had always been overweight, but the doctor told her that her eating habits had wrecked her. He made clear that if she wanted to change anything, she first would have to change herself, which she did. Dr. Now praised the mother of two for losing 113 pounds in 8 months. She still needed to work on her health at the end of her episode before being authorized for surgery. But the main thing is that she's on the right track and now weighs 100 pounds less, so she can be present for her children.
I still have to take it easy and not push myself too hard because Dr. Now said the test and x-rays did show.
Lenithra Reed.
I'm grateful that I have a job because I have to take care of my daughter. But I don't think anybody understands how hard it is because of my size.
The internet was ablaze with recordings of a morbid mother's incredible fitness journey.
Be the change that I've been waiting for and that I've been needing for so long now.
Throw him down.
Which led her to Dr. Now's clinic. Lenithra Reed of Mississippi started her journey with a 600-pound life weight loss journey, weighing in at 626 pounds. During her time on the show, Lenithra was shown to be working out regularly with her trainer and appeared to be on the path to a healthier lifestyle. She was sincerely hoping that the new treatment plan offered by Dr. Now was going to turn her life around. However, as fans, we understand that simply traveling to Houston will not help unless one remains focused on their aim. However, after missing numerous appointments with Dr. Now, Reed eventually distanced herself from the weight loss program, explaining her schedule as a single mother meant she was unable to fully commit. So Dr. Now dialed her on video call, and nothing good came out of it, as Reed kept going round and round with things. We all know what happens after that, as Dr. Now gave her a piece of his mind.
It was like when you kept saying like for 4 years, I'm like, now how you think somebody gonna go for 4 years without eating?
He told her that overeating was killing her. She said that she needed to eat something in order to survive. Her arguing made the bariatric surgeon say that she had already consumed enough food for the next 4 years, and that she need not be concerned about malnutrition. After a roller coaster of losing and gaining pounds, Reed was eventually dropped off of the program.
If you have any question or change your mind, you can give us a call, okay?
Yes, sir.
Before we go on to the last time Dr. Now acted like a total douchebag on our list, we'd love to hear your thoughts on today's video, as well as if you have any other favorite shows that you'd like to see on our channel. Shannon Lowry.
I hate my life because I'm not even living anymore. I'm too big to do anything.
Lowry weighed 739 pounds at the start of her episode. At the start, she told devastating details about how her unhealthy relationship with food began. Her mother wasn't around. She had only her father, but he was usually working and didn't have much time to spend with her. Her father also worked in fast food, so whenever she went to his place of business, she would eat non-stop. She traveled to Texas, like so many others before her, to meet Dr. Now in the hopes of regaining some control over her health. Due to being hospitalized and having to travel such a long distance to get to Houston, when she arrived at the hospital, however, things became even more extreme, as she was in such bad shape that it required 15 nurses to transport her from one location to another. Lowry struggled to lose 80 pounds over the course of 13 months, and she was still a long way away from the 150 pounds Dr. Now wanted her to lose in 2 months, but she was making progress. She persisted in her quest for her ultimate weight loss goals. However, it appears that she's having financial difficulties, as she mentioned in one of her posts that she needed to relocate to Houston in order to have surgery to save her life, but that she was having difficulty finding inexpensive housing.
This past month, I've been doing really good. My stamina has continued to get better.
Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.